Hi and welcome to this tutorial about the Ambiance Creator tool for Reaper. So the tool has been created because we wanted a way to create ambiances, complex ambiances, with ease and fast. So here is the Github Repository. The link is in the description. You can use it to get the tool. You can use Reapack. You can follow the instruction to get it, and you also have an how to use it section with explanation. All right, let's check the tool. So the tool is here. As you can see, there is three main parts. The first one is that one on the top where you have the different button and you can load some global presets. And then you have two different parts. So this one on the left, this is the hierarchy. This is where you will add groups and containers. And on the right, you have the parameters for the selected groups or container. Okay, so we'll prepare a bit the tool, because once you get it for the first time, you won't have it will not able you won't be able to create any ambiances. Why? Because you will need to feed it with containers. Actually, you have to create your own database. So as you can see here, for example, I have already a lot of them. And if I click, I can load them and I will have all my sounds, etc. But before you have to create your own. So let's check how to do it. Here I've prepared some files. So we have a bed. We have another bed, but it has been sliced into small pieces. And here you have three types of birds. You can just quickly check the contents. So this is the first bed, which is one long file. Then you have another bed, which is split into different pieces. I will show you why later. Then you have here a bird. Here you have a second bird and a third one. Okay, so different type of birds. All right, so let's first create two groups. Let's separate that into beds and birds. Okay, so in the bed we want two containers. The first one is yeah, let's call it just bed generic forest, and you can import it. So you select, you click import, and the sound is imported. Let's do the same for the second bed. So it's a bed, and let's call it leaves and wind. You select all the sounds and you will import. As you can see, it imports all the different pieces. And you do the same for here. So we have three birds. Bird. I don't know the type of the bird, so let's just call them O1. Oops. Up. Import. Second one. It's bird O2. And the third one, O3. Voila. I recommend you to be a bit more specific if you do your own. You can follow any name convention you want. Here, for example, I use birds, and then I be more and more specific. So if you want to reuse them later, you'll know. Okay, so now that it's done, we actually don't need the session anymore. So it's just a session to edit and import the sound, so we can delete everything. But if you close now Reaper, the problem is the way Reaper manage the media files and what the data we have extracted. So just to be clear, when you import an item, so first here we didn't save anything. So let's first do that. So let's save the container. As you can see, when you save a container or a group or anything, it will by default take the name you put here. So let's save it. Let's do the same for all of them. Up. Same here. And same here. Okay. So when it's done, actually, what have we saved? We have saved the reference to the item, which means that by default, when you put an item into a session, they are copied into a specific directory linked to that project. It's usually at the root folder of the project. The problem is now the tool reference this item. So the reference is linked to the session, which is not really great because it means that if you delete the session for whatever reason, or you lose the link, or you work on a portable install or whatever, you will lose the reference to this item and you won't be able to reuse this container later for another use. So to prevent that, into the settings, you can specify a media item directory, which is a directory. Once something is set here, each time you save a container, the sounds will be copied into that directory and the new path will be used. It means that all the sounds are at the same place and you won't lose any references. So I highly recommend you to set up something here. The good part also is if you work in a team, for example, here I use a directory, a shared directory, which means that anyone in the team that use the tool and have the same media item directory can use any presets I've created, or we can share them all together because the preset knows where the item is. So if I share an item with someone and we use the same media item directory, it means that anyone can use it. Okay. So the next step, we have some parameters. So by default, we have parameters in groups and containers, but by default, the containers will inherit its parameter from its parent group. So let's check first on the group. So if you set something here, it will be the default behavior for all the container inside the group. But here for the beds, we probably want two different behavior. So you can override the parent settings. Okay. So for the first one, the bed, we have only one file. It's a 30-second long file, I think. Which means that in the trigger setting section, we want that sound to be duplicated each time you want more than the length of that item. So what I mean by that is if I want, 1 minute, more than 1 minute long ambience, and I generate that file, as you can see, it will copy the file to cover the whole area. So here there's a space between because by default, the trigger setting is in absolute mode with a 10-second interval and a random variation of 30%. So if we want that file to be there actually, and just to do that, what you can do is You can keep it in absolute, but just put it at 0 and you don't want any variation. Which means that now you can create like I don't know, 4-minute long ambiances. Oh yeah, this is the whole ambiances and what I want to show right now. So, but here, as you can see, you have the single sound that is repeatedly copied to fill the whole area. But actually, this is not exactly what we want, because it means that we don't have any smooth transition between two files, because they are just next to each other. What we can do then is we can go in to a negative value. And what a negative value does is it will overlap the items. So if now I generate again, I have to select time selection. As you can see, there is an overlap between the items, which is cool. Now we have a nice bed. The only thing we have to do is to disable the pan, because we don't want the sound to have a bed to move in the stereo. It's weird. You can remove the pan. You can also change the pitch if you want. I prefer just to remove it for now. And we can leave the randomized volume maybe to, yeah, that value is nice. Okay, now we have a nice bed. Okay, let's go to the next one. So it's also a bed, but this one is split into different small pieces. The reason is sometimes, depending on your workflow, or if you are working on a video game and you want very long ambiances, but you don't want to feel the loop, you can split the bed into small pieces. And for example, if you are working in a middleware, audio middleware, you can put them into a random container. So each pieces will play randomly, and you can have a super long ambience bed without feeling the repetition, because each small part is randomized. And we can do the exact same behavior here. So let's override the default. Let's continue. Okay, we want them to overlap a bit. So let's say, yeah, 0.8, it's good. We don't want any variation. We don't want pitch, we don't want pan. Actually, same settings. The only difference is that since we have split it into different pieces, now we have a nice non-repetitive loop. Okay, let's check the birds. For the birds, let's say that, let's start with the same behavior for all the birds. We can stay in absolute mode, and let's say, okay, I want a bird every 20 seconds, and we want a bit of variation. We want the pitch, we want the volume, we want the pan. So it's already there. Let's just generate the container and see. All right. So we can already play the So it's nice, but as you can see, all the sounds are almost the same length, and with the same parameters, they all trigger at the same time. It's maybe not what we want. So we probably want some specific behavior for each of them. So let's say that we really like, I don't know, this one, the third one. So we can override, and we can check the different modes. So we already covered the absolute. It's pretty straightforward. You just use interval in seconds, and you can randomize. You can also have the relative, which is almost the same, but instead of using a fixed amount between each item, you can use a relative in percent, which means that it depends. It will be related to the time selection. So depending on if it's a 1 minute selection or a 10 minutes, the interval will not be the same, but it also means that the amount of that sound will be the same. on average, which can be nice. And you also have the coverage, which is the amount of that sound you want in the time selection. And this will take in account the length of the item. So let's say that this one, we want it at maybe 70%. Boom. So, okay, we have more and more. And this one, no, maybe this one, we don't like it that much. I mean, don't want to hear it too often. Let's put it in relative. And we want maybe, I don't know, 50% of the time. We only have 2 then. Maybe a bit more. Okay. All right. So this is how it works. Of course, you can be creative with mostly the pitch. You can have good result by doing something weird with the pitch. You can do, of course, something other than just bed and birds. Possibilities are endless. You can create wallas with the tool. The most important is to have good quality recording and source material. This is very important. You notice that the track structure here for the moment followed this structure. This is something that will change in the future, I think, but for the moment, it's good as it is. And let's check quickly the settings. So the settings, we already covered the media item directory. Don't forget to check that. And then you have the crossfade settings. You will also some UI appearance. It's just to customize a bit the tool. But let's first check a bit that. So this determines the length of automatic crossfade created when regenerating content in a time selection. What does it mean? So the tool allows you to, so let's say that here we have created a 4 minutes long ambience. And I don't know, let's say that for that part, you don't like the generation or you want something different because so you want to tweak the parameters and have a specific behavior for that part. You can recreate it. And by doing that, maybe let's take a bigger, By doing that, you split probably an item in 2. And to avoid, just to smooth the transition, it automatically creates a crossfade between what is outside and the new content you just created. And the amount of crossfade is set there. So here it's a 2.200 millisecond long fade. That's it. Of course, you can recall any container at any time. So if I want to get, I don't know, some birds, I can load it and I can generate it. Oh yeah, I have to select time selection. Right, so it's there. And you can do that at any time. You can also add a new group if you want, or you can also just do, can first maybe save the one we did. Okay, let's say we want this as tuto forest, save it. So if now I want the winter forest, I can load and I can create a new ambience here. It will take a time because it's bigger, and voila. And everything that is in common, it will be added at the same place. One thing important to notice is the tool doesn't handle any gain or volume for the moment, which means that, as you can hear it here, you need to rebalance everything all the time. This is also something that will be added in the future. But for the moment, you need to balance it each time you create a new generation. If you change the volumes and you regenerate a section, it won't erase what you did. So this is also important. And if you uncheck that and you recreate the ambience, in that particular case, it will erase everything and recreate everything. So this is also something to know. But usually keep that on and everything should be good. Voila. Thank you for watching. So as I said, I put the link in the description. If you have any question, if you encounter any bug or anything, do not hesitate to reach us out and we'll do our best to fix that as soon as possible. Also, if you have suggestions, we're really open to hear them. Anything that can improve the tool is good. Thank you for watching and see you next time.